Black podcast. This is your host, D Rose, man. I'm coming to you to speak on a few topics. Of course, unless you've been living under a rock, you've seen that all of the news outlets that has covered the Austin Metcalf and the Karmelo Anthony case. First and foremost, regardless, I'm going to pay my respects, uh, regardless of how I may feel about the outcome. Uh, Rest in peace to Austin Metcalf. To me, when you look at just the overall breakdown of everything that occurred, two parents actually lost their children. One for 35 years and one has to do a lifetime. Now, I'm going to talk about everything and how it transpired and share my thoughts on it, right? So, I do remember that before the case even started, Austin Metcalf's daddy had stated that he had forgave Karmelo Anthony for the murder, at the time alleged murder of his son, right? Proven to be currently as a fact, right? Karmelo Anthony has been sentenced. I think it was either Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. He was sentenced to 35 years, first degree murder, right? I felt personally that that was egregious. And again, like I said, neither one of the parents won. This wasn't a victory lap for either side. They may feel a little bit more at ease because they do have justice. But in this particular video, I do want to share with you Austin Metcalf's dad before the actual case had started. He adamantly stated this was not a race thing. He didn't want this to be political, right? This is the video. I'm going to show you that video. And then now, since he's no longer under a gag order, I'm going to show you another video in response to Charleston White, the Anthony family, his new name that he actually has given Karmelo since the case. And I will say this, you will more than likely be shocked from how it started. And of course, we're just outside looking in. I'm just sharing my thoughts. You're never going to know of what either side felt throughout it. You've heard that Karmelo's family had to move several times. Of course, they had to have security. There was even live threats outside of the courthouse from both sides, right? You had the people that supported Karmelo giving out threats. You had people that were in favor of Austin Metcalf giving out threats, rightfully so. Now, was it some foolery going on? Absolutely. On both sides. Man, it's hot out here in Houston. But enough of me talking. I'm going to actually play both of the videos, and then I'm going to get back to my thoughts and share those with you all. Tap in.
It's very unfortunate that this other child decided to make a bad choice that's going to affect him for the rest of his life. I have compassion for every human being. This is not, I want to make this very clear. This is not a race issue. This is not a black and white issue. I don't want someone stepping up on a soapbox trying to politicize this. I don't appreciate some of the remarks I've seen online that people say there was this fight and they don't know, they weren't there. I know the truth. So unless you were there, unless you saw it, don't spread gossip.
Just to ask you this one question, like I had mentioned, the self-defense argument made by the suspect. What's your reaction to that if that's used in court or used?
Yeah, as a defense attorney, they're going to try every avenue. That's their job. The truth will come out. There were too many people that were there that saw what happened. My own son told me what happened. There was never a punch even thrown. So I don't care. There was never a phone broken. We've never had contact with this individual ever. So unless you were there, I don't appreciate all the gossip and all the mistruths that people are speaking at this moment.
Is that shocking to hear or read, or at least hear from me, say that that's what he told police after that moment?
No, what do you expect? If you're caught, the best thing you're gonna do is try to lie your way out of it. Now, I'm not saying he's a liar, but the truth and the facts, justice will prevail. It has nothing to do with me.
Fuck you. The people are going to see you for who you really are now. And if we want to talk individuals, we can, because I couldn't speak about this in court. But I can speak freely now because the gag order is lifted. Tiffany Billions, McAdoo, whatever her last name is, I'm not going to throw insults at you because I'm not going to lower myself to your level. But you're despicable. Drew Anthony, Kayla, you're cowards. You wouldn't even show up for your son's sentencing or victim statement impact. You abandoned your kid. You left him there. I guess he's no more use to you because you can't get any more GoFundMe money or Go money. You are grifters. You should be ashamed of yourself. You raised that child. And I swear to God, CPS to come check on those other 3 that you still have. You never once admitted or took accountability. You tried to play victim. The real victim is the one who died, not the one who shoved a knife in his chest. I come to pray with you and show the world we can close the gap of this unbelievable racial divide. And what'd you do? You widen the gap even further. You hire a convicted, baby shaking felon who's only in it for the money, who gives you bad advice, kicks me out of a press conference. Oh, funny. I was somewhere I wasn't supposed to be, but I left when asked. I didn't stab anyone. And then you proceeded to gaslight me with your convicted felon, quote, advocate, minister? Minister of what? Minister irrelevant? Minister of bullshit? How about minister fuck you? Y'all think I'm a saint? I'm no saint. I'm as human as you. I have emotions. Just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean I don't sin, because I don't walk on water and I don't turn into wine.
All right, so you've had a chance to check out both of the videos. Here's my thoughts, right? When he first started, I agree with him that, you know, regardless of how you looked at it, the news and the media was going to do its thing to say that, you know, Karmelo was either innocent or guilty. You know, people were going to have their own narratives. Probably the easiest case for the media to cover because it was a young black kid, a young white kid, right? Perfect storm for them because at the end of the day, they knew for a fact that they would get all of the attention for people that wanted to have an issue with either side, whether you white and don't like black people and whether you black and don't like white people, right? Racism is going to be racism, prejudice is going to be prejudice. These type of scenarios always bring out the best or the worst of people, just depend on how they respond. So if you allow it to control you, then you're probably one of the people that were easily targeted just based off of the propaganda that was put out into the media, right? Now, if you feel that the father was wrong, I don't know any parent that has lost a child, regardless black, white, Puerto Rican, or Asian, that wouldn't have the same words. Now, with him leaning in and saying watermelon felon, taking the shots at the parents, let's be real. If you were in the same predicament, do you think that just because he's a white man, that he would have any different sentiments that you would as a brother, as a sister, Asian? It don't matter. He can say he forgave, but at the end of the day, your natural instincts is to protect you and yours. Whatever comes to your mind within those times, whether that's from the grief, the rage, the anger, all of that stuff has been pent up. He hasn't been able to respond due to a gag order. Now, when you look at Karmelo's side and you look at his parents and how they have responded in their interviews, of course they're going to be looking for an appeal lawyer. If an appeal, whoever they will find somebody that would take the money to see if he can at least probably get the sentence reduced. I do not see them dismissing it and him walking free. Just being real with you, just based off of how it was signed up, and his defendant, the defense was terrible. Now, do I think that he committed a crime with defending himself and that nature? We didn't get to see a full video, so you can never get to say that. At my thoughts was at the least negligent homicide, which Probably would have got him 10 to 15 years at the most, probably 10. First time offender, he'd probably be home in 3 to 5 years. The rest would be on probation, as you've seen in other cases, right? However, that wasn't the case. He got 35 years, and he is actually currently waiting to be sentenced. I mean, not sentenced, booked into wherever he's going to get his prison number at until appeal. Appeal is not an easy source. It's going to take a lot for them to get to that point, so he will sit for some time before that he is actually given the ability to make an appeal. They have, I want to say, 25 days to get that up in front of a judge to see how that process will work, but it will not be probably within this year. He'll be there for the rest of the year unless they, for whatever reason, will get sped up, which I highly doubt, with one being in Texas and just a lot going on, right? But let me know your thoughts in regards to it, right? Because I see truth in a lot, I see hurt in a lot, but when we are presenting the facts and you're taking your emotions out of the situation, what would be your difference? What would be your thoughts if your family was in the same situation? Whether you're Austin, the Metcalf family, or you the Karmelo family, let me know. Long live CC. I'm out.